So, my life story consists and starts with me growing up in church. And that was a great blessing in my life. I had a great Christian family that taught me a lot about God and the Bible. And it was so great to grow up knowing that God was always there for me. But along with growing up in the church come a lot of expectations. And these expectations weren't even necessarily from people from the church, but from a lot of myself, and just expecting myself to meet a certain standard. And that manifested itself in being perfect, or at least trying to be perfect all the time. That meant that I needed to have the perfect clothes, I needed to be modest, I needed to have the good hair, I needed to have the perfect life. Along with that meant that I needed a good Christian guy, and I needed to have that boyfriend. And watching my friends get boyfriends, I figured that that was a part of my life, and I needed to be that good church girl. And there was many times in my life that I failed to meet my own standard. And when I failed to meet that standard, I felt like I had just failed myself, and I had failed God, and I had failed the church. And this was a constant struggle throughout my life of feeling like I'd failed and feeling like I hadn't met the standard that I had set for myself. And I realized that I set a lot of unrealistic goals for me. I constantly planned out my future thinking that that would help me to do what was right and do what was best for me. And it wasn't until about a year ago that I realized that I needed to stop planning my life and let God plan it. I needed to not try to impress other people or be perfect all the time, because that was never going to happen, and that was unrealistic for me to think that way. This realization gave me a lot of hope in Christ, and knowing that God has it under control. I don't need to have the perfect guy. I don't even need a guy. I need God to plan out my life for me. It also helped me to realize that I'm the one that is setting a lot of these expectations and putting a lot of pressure on myself, and it's not even so much other people. And so this has helped me to do a lot more work on myself, and has helped me to really rely a lot more on Christ. And I still am in process. I still fail many times, but this realization has helped me to realize that that's okay, and it's okay to fail. And just because I stumble every once in a while doesn't mean that I've completely failed God, and it doesn't mean that I failed the church, because we're all in process. And the best part about that is that I don't have to figure out my plans for my life, because God's already done the work for me.